Welcome to the Fast Mode podcast series. I'm Tara Neil, and with me today is John Capobianco, Product Marketing Evangelist at Selector. Selector is a technology company specializing in AI-driven IT operations, AIOps solutions. Founded in 2019 and headquartered in Santa Clara, California, Selector offers a platform that provides real-time actionable insights for managing multi-domain network and application infrastructures. Their solutions encompass anomaly detection, event correlation, smart alerting, and log analytics, enabling organizations to enhance operational efficiency and reduce downtime. John is a seasoned IT professional with over 2 decades of experience in network engineering and automation. Prior to joining Selector, John held several notable positions, including technical leader in AI at Cisco. In this role, he focused on integrating artificial intelligence into network operations to enhance efficiency and performance. John joins us as part of our exclusive editorial segment on generative AI for network management. Welcome, John. Great to have you on today's episode. Welcome, John. Great to have you on today's episode.
Thank you, Tara. I'm really excited to be here. This is exciting. The fast mode is staying really ahead and keeping up with the trends, especially in artificial intelligence. So I'm really excited that you've invited me to be here. Thank you.
All right, awesome. Okay, so let's start with a quick overview of AI in telecom networks. So how can telcos leverage AI to reduce mean time to identify, detect, and of course, repair?
Sure. So I think a big part of it is that telcos have large data and that we can help harmonize that data and enrich that data with metadata. The artificial intelligence itself is only so good, right? It's a closed book. But if we can feed it telemetry from the telcos and from their large ecosystems of devices and logs and alerts and events, that's a lot for individual humans, even large teams of humans, to correlate and to come to root cause. So AI really, our main proposition is mean time to innocence, helping to isolate and minimize downtime, mean time to detection, and that's a big key. We're going to do auto baselining from all of these events and what is normal, what is not, identify those anomalies, and then correlate them with logs that might be in different silos today. It might take a human 5 or 6 different dashboards or log systems or different mechanisms to piece it together. And the artificial intelligence that's what its job is doing, the machine learning algorithms to identify anomalies and cluster them together. So that way we can identify, right, the mean time to repair. I think this is when I did network engineering, to resolve a problem, 98, 99% of the effort was going into discovery and trying to figure out what happened and make sense of it and correlate these issues. Well, now imagine a smart alert that says there was a fiber cut here. It caused these BGP sessions to go down, which caused this impact to your organization, right? With a geo map showing you on a map where that fiber cut was, where the traffic's been rerouted. We have a digital twin capability to replay the event as it happened so that you can catch up and bring yourself up to speed as to what exactly happened leading up to the event, during the event, and now after the event. And it's has real impact. We see ticket reduction volume of up to 98% for a customer pinpointing misconfigurations instead of, chasing cascading alerts. We really have done a 98% ticket reduction for large telcos. And that's one of the big things is creating signal from the noise.
Excellent. So I think that brings us basically to the next frontier of AI, which I think we all very well know, which is generative AI, right? So enters generative AI, and it's changing things quite a bit, especially in the way we harness AI. So how do technologies like LLMs and co-pilots improve network management?
Wow.
And also other things, that's involved in delivering the performance that we want.
Well, I mentioned the smart alerts and that so we have a network language model, the NLM, where we're going to take telemetry and fine tune an open source model at the core. So the open source model is a closed book and has, billions of parameters of knowledge, including quite a bit about networking in general, broadly speaking. We can actually take the customer's telemetry per customer. We don't share this across customers, but actually fine tune that model so that way it can do inference and do the generative AI with more context and actual information about the network via metadata, via named entity recognition, mining syslogs, for example. I really think, though, the key to our success is our Copilot, an actual ChatGPT-like interface where you can literally have conversations with your infrastructure. How is the wireless in Atlanta? Things of that nature. But we can go much beyond that, much, much further than just simple questions, compounded questions, deep analysis. Now, the response back from our Copilot includes a dashboard view that is fully interactive, so a visualized view of the response, and then a natural language response. So you're talking about generative AI and Copilots. We actually provide a dashboard that then you can expand into your main dashboard and click through, or you can just have a conversation with it in natural language and interrogate the state of your network through just human prompts. Now, one thing I find fun, and I do this more to open up your minds, we can actually say, how is my circuit between New York and Philadelphia, and answer in the form of Yoda. And it will say, healthy the circuit is not, right? Things like that. Now, but what you could actually say is that same question, but instead of a fun prompt, and give me a report that my directors can understand. So it will give you the technical analysis, it'll give you a dashboard, and then it'll actually give you a report that you could just copy and paste and send off to whoever's interested, the party's interested in that information. Or democratize this and let even CX level people can ask questions about the network. They don't have to have any domain specific knowledge or remember or have credentials to log into this and run that command. It's all been abstracted, and we can present it now in a chatbot interface or through Slack or Teams or the messenger of your choice. So, at Selector, how is everything going in Boston this morning? And it will gather the metrics, it will give you a dashboard, and it will give you a human response. It's quite revolutionary. It's like going from the CLI to a GUI. Well, now we're going from a GUI into something we can actually interface with natural language.
Wow, sounds exciting. I just wanted to, tap your knowledge in this. How do scenarios? I'm going to give you a scenario. I just want to know if there is such a scenario where you actually don't use any LLMs, any interfaces as such, but the task given to the solution within the solution involves generative AI, which means it generating bits of information, maybe like simulation data and stuff, but it's not accessible to an engineer or user. It is actually it acts as an input for the next machine. It's like machine to machine. So machines generate this information among themselves and then pass it to other machines. So you don't get any LLM interfaces, no chat boxes and stuff. Are there scenarios as such? Because so far what we have seen is that when we ask, like vendors, do you guys have generative AI capabilities? Well, some say that it's just basically slapping on an LLM interface, and that makes it Gen AI. So what's your take on that?
Well, I don't think that either approach is wrong. I think integrating an LLM or fine-tuning an LLM for your own purposes and providing an interface to it through a conversational front end is a very valid use case of generative AI. However, you're right. There are additional uses machine to machine. And we've seen the traffic shift over the time where it was 80% human and 20% machine on the internet. And now it's the reverse. 80% of the internet traffic is machine now. So our idea is that our solution is very good at identifying root cause. And certain customers already have automation solutions in place.
Yep.
We can close the loop. So our ultimate goal is to close the loop. When an issue arises, we can identify it, pinpoint it on the device or the interface or the line of configuration, and then integrate with other third parties that companies already have or their own in-house automation to kick off a workflow, to correct that problem, to kick off an Ansible playbook or a Terraform job or a Python script, or their own LLM that we hand off the smart alert to, and their LLM on their side analyzes the smart alert and kicks off some automation. There is absolutely opportunity here for us to connect LLMs together.
Wow, that really sounds amazing. So, as the adoption of the AI and generative AI increases, right? What's the implication? I mean, on various fronts. One thing that we often hear is about human operators, right? Will they be replaced? And then we are also looking at possibly a lot of existing traditional solutions may not have a place anymore. So, what do you think?
Well, I think it's the same answer for both parts of that question. I believe, at least now, in the medium term, AI is going to be an augmentation for both human organisms as well as traditional existing systems. All the way from old COBOL mainframes, you can see that mainframes are trying to be repurposed for artificial intelligence use. To humans, I think it's an augmentation. I myself have never been more productive. Over the weekend, I was able to write some artificial intelligence agents. It only took me a few hours to get them working because I'm augmenting myself with this new capability. So here's a few ways to look at it. In my lifetime, it was the digitization of things from the analog world. And everything was a shocking thing. The digital calculator, the education system I grew up in, and parents were scared of this thing. Children are not going to learn math all of a sudden because there's a digital calculator. I think this goes all the way back to moving large, heavy objects in the Stone Age. We as humans invented the lever so we could move boulders and things of that nature, tools, the bow and arrow, right? I think this is just another, maybe the best tool that humans have ever invented and released to other humans to use. I have fully embraced artificial intelligence. I've been using it now for close to 2.5 years, and I'm able to do things just like a lever lets me move something heavy. This augments my brain and my ideas and my creativity. And augments me to maybe write Python code that would take me weeks to figure out on my own, right? Now, in terms of augmenting older systems, we at Selector are not claiming we're going to immediately displace your existing systems. What we want to do is integrate with them. If they have REST APIs, if you have big data lakes, if you have data stores or silos of data, we can get that data out and still augment it and enrich it with artificial intelligence.
Wow. Okay, that's really insightful, and I also think that the way you explained how it's not about replacing one thing with another. It's basically just elevating our capabilities to the next level. So it's something to be welcomed. Well, okay. So now you did mention about Selector. So let's go into there and. Tell us more about Selector's AIOps solution and some of its features. What makes it stand out from the rest?
Well, I think what makes it stand out is that we really are committed to solving problems. So we want you to bring use cases to us that we can see a fit for natural language and for our network language model or a digital twin. We really do want to take in data and run it through our pipeline of machine learning to come up with correlations and root cause analysis. We could also track things like configuration management, who changed what and when, and a history, and the impact, negative or positive, of that configuration change. it really is about augmenting skilled network professionals or junior network professionals or anyone in security, anyone who has to interface with the network, now can use a co-pilot and their own natural language to interface with this technology that has become very complex and very difficult to operate with just humans. We can't just keep expanding the size of the human teams. This tool has come along at the right time in human history to help augment operations. Now, the tickets, I know that most network engineers are going to have a folder called alerts that they have email filters and they just dump everything into this folder and ignore all the noise, right? We have a different approach of a smart alert of actually identifying there was a fiber cut, there was a configuration change, and it led to these incidents on your network. That's what really makes us stand out, are the ability to interrogate the network in one direction with natural language, and in the other direction get natural language, simple, smart alerts that correlate everything into a single event. This year, we really are focused on our co-pilot and our digital twin efforts, as well as our agent system. I know a lot of people have heard about agentic AI
Yep.
and AI agents. We have agents, for example, to send an email. So we have this root cause analysis and you want emails to go to the right people at the right time. We hand off to an artificial intelligence agent. We have been agentic since before the craze of agents.
Oh,
Our
wow.
approach is agentic and we do have agents within our system. And we have real world success stories. So we're really proud of the impact we've been able to have in, supporting very, very large infrastructure organizations.
So you just mentioned about agentic AI, right? So is it a kind of scenario where you actually replicate a person's tasks, role and stuff, give it a name, maybe the same name that you would have, and that person would be your proxy to do all the tasks that you would have done, which involves, a lot of analysis and stuff? Is that the kind of scenario we're looking at?
You have a very good understanding of agents, Tara. Yes, that's exactly it. Where we, instead of, there's one thing to send a little smart alert to the right network engineers. There's another to craft an email that has details and outlines the information a little bit more verbosely, right? So a human doesn't have to do that anymore. You have this agentic system that you want to send, very well. An email that you would not know as the receiver of the email wasn't written by a seasoned network engineer, right? The information is all pertinent, it's all correct, it's all timeline oriented. It talks about circuits and identifiers from metadata, locations, and the right people will receive this email and have no idea that it was generated by an artificial intelligence agent. So, and that's almost like a coworker, right? It's like a digital coworker at this point, or part of the digital twin experience where this network is now a digital twin and has all the operational data. So we can make little insightful calls through agents, be it communicating or calling an external closing the loop system. There's a lot of potential with agents.
So do you bring your models to the client's organization, tap into their systems, their data systems, and train them, or are the models pre-trained and then sort of refined using the client's data? I mean, who takes care of that portion?
Yeah, so it's a mix of both. So our open source model is the llama model at the core. So think of it as a three concentric rings. There's the core model that is already pre-trained. We don't train models. We don't have GPUs that we're training our own models. We start with the llama open source model as the core. Selector then, and for every customer that we have, we add a layer of fine tuning, retraining the model, fine tuning the model with sequel to human knowledge. So that way when you ask a question, how is the Wi-Fi in Toronto? That is turned into a complex SQL query, hence the name Selector, AI, by the way, a select statement from SQL. And then a third layer of fine-tuning, an outer band that is customer specific. So think of it this way. Every customer that we have gets 2 layers of the model.
Okay.
And then based on the customer's telemetry
Yeah.
and system logs and events and alerts, we then tune those 2 inner layers with the actual network data. We're calling this a network language model.
All right. So is this a common architecture, or is this how most people do it?
No, this is highly unique to Selector. This is Selector's
okay.
approach to
Wow.
maximizing generative AI's capability. Yeah.
Wow, awesome. So I was wondering if you can share an example of a real-world scenario where Selector's solutions successfully identified and resolved a critical network issue that would otherwise have gone unnoticed.
Absolutely. So there's a few things we were very proud of. I would really highlight to anyone who's interested, if anything I've said has excited you or sparked some interest or some inspiration, go find Jeremy Schulman's AutoCon presentation. It was just happened a few weeks ago. He is from Major League Baseball, and he outlines more or less how Major League Baseball has used Selector, is using Selector today in real world application, like actually using it to enhance and augment their abilities. And he talks about a tornado incident. It's a configuration management change, and we see all of the effect that change had, and it pinpoints who made the change, what device was changed, how to roll back the change, fixing what would have been potentially an outage that would have taken a lot more effort than just a few seconds of artificial intelligence analysis. So I urge you to watch Jeremy's video. It's only 30 minutes long. You'll really learn something if this is new to you. If you're interested in Selector, absolutely watch the video. It is our best use case on display. Also, the largest infrastructure provider in the world has reduced their ticket volume by 90%. That is millions of dollars in tickets and in human time saved for one of the largest infrastructure providers in the world. They are a very big fan of our work. And that's just one use case for them, is their ticketing system alone. Because of the correlation and clustering and root causation, we can create 1 ticket instead of 50 tickets or 40 tickets. And that is dramatic. That is a dramatic impact for an engineer to get the root cause identified to them and the subsequent impact, instead of 50 alarms from 50 different systems that then we have to take in all this noise and figure it out, right? We do that for them. So we have very successful use cases out there. We're moving into the healthcare space. Healthcare is very interested in augmenting their systems. As you can imagine, healthcare is struggling to find budget.
Yep.
And to maintain infrastructure. Well, augmenting them with artificial intelligence is a wonderful use case.
Wow, amazing. So one small last question. So are the engineers at Selector more relaxed, or do you guys have a lot more to do now?
Well, we're very busy, but that's a good problem for us to have. We're excited to be taking on these new challenges and really pushing the limits of what Selector can do. That's a fun question, though. I think our CTO and my vice president might have a different opinion than I. I'm really enjoying the ride. I've been with the company 7 months now. We are really starting to get traction and become known. And I want to thank you, Tara, for having me on the Fast Mode. This has been a wonderful conversation. Thank you.
Oh, amazing. And yep, I think we are at the end of our session, and we must thank you guys for, making your time and explaining, not only about your Selector's solutions and the approach that you take, a very unique approach, but also, in describing the processes that go into the engines that basically help humans to really expedite things and also cut down all the mundane tasks and stuff. So thank you, really thank you a lot.
Well, I've really enjoyed it. If anyone has any questions, please reach out. I would love to connect with you. And maybe I could be back in 6 months and we could talk about what our latest innovations are.
Yep, exactly, and follow up on two of the case studies that you just mentioned. So that'll be interesting. So, yep, to everyone tuning in, thank you guys for listening. Like what John said, if you want to learn more, visit www.selector.ai and follow us for more updates and insights as we continue to uncover the latest in technology and telecommunications. See you guys in our next episode. Bye bye.